Hello, everyone, and welcome on to the live feed over here at Nutmeg Curling Club. We are here for the 2018 Achilles Tournament Final. My name is Britt, and I will be joining with you today to bring you these matches. So we have two draws going on. This is the second draw of the day. The earlier draw was the semifinals, and this is now our final draw of the day. So the championship match will be on Sheet B, and will happen between Team Doucette and Team Russo. Oh, we have a person wandering looking for their beer. I hope he finds it. And we'll go over who's who on each sheet. We're getting them started. So earlier in the day, at the 9 o'clock draw, Craig Doucette's team defeated Aaron Doucette's team. So Aaron will be playing on sheet C in the consolation match. And Giuseppe's team defeated Eric Sebastian's team, so they will be on B, and Eric's team will be on C. Eric is unfortunately not feeling well, so he has recruited Sean Main to come in and cover him for this match. So let's go over who's playing on sheet A. You can see right now I just gave you the end. That's Craig Doucette holding the broom, so he is not going to have hammer. Rousseau will have hammer to start the match, and Doucette will be throwing the red rocks. Playing with Craig, his vice will be Bob Baroni, his second will be Jane Murray, and his lead will be Jeff Roberget. I hope I just said that right. Sorry if I botched that, Jeff. And again, they're playing against Giuseppe Russo's team. Giuseppe is joined by his daughter Kayla at vice, Rick Moore at second, and Maggie Sadowski at lead. Over on sheet C in the consolation game, it's actually a 3-on-3 match. So Sean Main will be joined by AJ Hippias as vice, and then Heather will be taking on the dual role of lead and second. And they will be playing up against Aaron Doucette's team, which is Aaron, Brian Glatzel at vice, and Brian Walker at second/lead. So this is a rather unique event. What we do is we like to mix up the teams a little bit. So our vices and leads are usually first years, and our skips and seconds tend to be more experienced curlers. More experienced curlers are either current or former board members who are kind enough to join us today. Again, one of the big things we like to do with the Achilles is just to make sure that new members have an opportunity to meet the leadership of Nutmeg Curling and know who is the decision makers and who's really helping to run the club. And it's a great way to not only meet the board members, but to know who to give feedback to. A lot of new members come into our club and they're like, I have a suggestion, or I would like to help out with something, and they don't know who to talk to. So this is an easy opportunity for some of our newer curlers to get out there and meet some of our existing board members and former board members. So fun event. I love chairing it. The pizza has been eaten, and so we are here into the second match. And one of these two teams will get their names engraved onto the prestigious Achilles Cup. So we are early on right now in the first end. So we'll see how things start to develop. If you hear some sounds of rustling in the background, it's because I'm a one-man show today, folks. I am doing cleaning as well as broadcasting today. So over on sheet B, we're starting to see rocks get into the house. Let's take a closer look at sheet B. This is the overhead of the house right now. As you can see, there's two yellow stones in. One yellow stone in. Giuseppe putting a rock in right away. And looks like Craig is going to try and do something about that rock. He's got Jane Murray in the hack. Jane is an excellent stick curler and very good on takeouts, at least in my experience. She's always taken my rocks out, so that makes her very good in takeouts in my book. Her rock's away, and it's got plenty of weight. The sweepers are going on it. Maybe it doesn't have as much weight as I thought. Or maybe it's on the guard, and they're just trying to clear it out. So that's a nice peel. Doesn't get the red stone fully out of the way, though. I don't know how much of that yellow they can see. They may have just swapped guards there. So Rick Moore in the hack now for Giuseppe, also playing the second. Rick is a current board member, as was Jane, the person who threw the rock before. And it looks like Giuseppe is thinking about where he wants to go with this one. Go back to the 3-sheet view so you can see the sheet C, the constellation match, is an empty house right now. Sean is in here for Eric. Eric, definitely feel better. It was great to see you today. Wish you had been able to stick around. Would have loved to have you for both matches, but totally understand. Curling is not a sport best performed when you are not feeling well. That's for darn sure. So over on sheet B, I think Giuseppe was calling for a draw, and it's a little light. So now that's going to leave Craig Doucette a option to tap up the red on the center. So a tap-up call, what he's trying to do, for those of you who may be new to curling, is push the red stone straight back into the house. Into the rings is where he needs it to be if he wants it to count for points. And again, here comes Jane, who's very good with that stick. A lot of weight on this release. It's coming towards the house. Should be coming into camera view momentarily. There it is. Sweepers are walking with it. And I don't think it's not going to come back to where he wants it to be, but it's going to be another guard out there. Another stone for him to potentially work with. Giuseppe's going to try and draw, and looks like he's going to try and come down near the center line and then curl to the right-hand side behind that high yellow and into the house. This is called splitting the house, when you take stones and try to put them as far away from each other as possible in the house that they're both counting for potential points, but it's hard to get them both out with one shot because of the distance between them. Rick Moore delivers the stone, and it looks like it's got really solid weight. Here come the sweepers on it, and it's actually going to hit that red out front. And Giuseppe is going to try and get that red out of the back of the house, and he will succeed. That stone is out. So that takes away the stone that Craig was trying to work with. So we'll have to see what he's going to do here. Meanwhile, over on sheet C in the constellation match, Aaron has gotten a stone into the 4-foot. Let's take a real quick look at that. Right onto the button. Wow. So she's asking for Brian Glatzel, I think, to guard this, but it looks like he might be a little heavy. I don't think she's going to get a guard out of this, but she's going to get a biter on the center line. And let's see what Sean's going to do. Sean's going to try and take out that stone. If he gets a good angle, he might get a double out of it. We'll have to wait and see. But in the meantime, let's go back to the 3-sheet view. You can see not much has changed over on B. Here comes another rock, and he's going to peel that guy out. And just again, the shooter sticks around, so it's not a clean opening for Craig, but enough of an opening that he can work with. He definitely wants his stone out front instead of Giuseppe's, that's for sure. If you are watching this and you are new to curling or you're not a regular curler, this is a fantastic time to start watching. Oh, that shot on C was great, and the shooter sticks around. Nice shot over here on sheet C. I believe that was AJ Hippius. Very nicely done. It's a great time because the Olympics are starting in a couple of weeks, and there will be a lot of curling on TV, both live and tape delayed. Where are the Olympics this year? Maybe most of it will be tape delayed just because of time zones issues. But it'll be a lot of curling to watch and a lot of stuff to see. And in association with that, Nutmeg is doing a lot of different things. So if you're local to the Bridgeport, Connecticut area, come down and check us out. We have leagues on weeknights. We have a juniors league on weekends. We have events like this one today. It's a great time just to come out and see some curling. You know, we had a family wander in today. They were here from next door is the Wonderland of Ice, where there's hockey. They were done with hockey a few minutes early, and they just said, hey, let's go see what curling's all about. And they sat here for about 15, 20 minutes and chatted with me and learned a little bit about the game. So always that option. You know, it's a great time to get into curling. Anyway, we have curling going on, so enough of the advertising, so to speak. Craig Doucette looks like he's going to try that tap up again, and it looks like this time he's going to hit it a little bit more square. Let's switch to that camera, and pushed it right into the white. Let's see what Giuseppe wants to do. Giuseppe's going to try and go behind it to make it a better shot. So, again, I presume some folks may not understand curling, may not know what the heck this is. Curling, the real quick 2-second version of scoring is That center icon you see with a star in it is called the button. Whatever team is closer to the button after all the stones are thrown, 8 stones per end, that team will score points. So it's not only about getting closest there, but staying closest there, because your opponent can impact your stones and move them around. So it's a lot of strategy that works into it too. You want to be the closest stone at the end of an end. That's when all the rocks are thrown. We call that an end. You want to be the closest to the center, and you score 1 point for every stone you have that's closer to the center before you hit an opponent's stone. So if you put 4 stones all into that white section, and there's none of your opponent's stones anything closer than yours, you get those 4 points. So that's the 2-second version of curling. I imagine a lot of you are familiar with the game if you're watching, and we thank you for joining us. And we do. We have some people watching. The chat is open. I will check the chat periodically. I can't have the chat and the video screens open at the same time, but I will do my best to kind of balance the two. And it looks like back here on sheet B, let's go to the wide zoom so you can see there's those 3 red stones, and this is the skip's first rock, and he is going to throw, it looks like, again, another tap-up attempt. Now, he's got a long way to go. Let's switch back to the overhead view so you can see. He's got to drive that red stone that Bob is standing next to all the way back into the white section for it to count. So this is going to have good weight to it. It needs to be closer to the center than that yellow for it to matter, at least at the end of the end. But I mean, right now, if you want to get it in there... Oh no, this looks like a draw. I'm mistaken. It is not a tap up. He's trying to draw in, and he will get into the house, but it's not closer than the yellow, so the yellow is still going to be out counting him. So right now the score would be 1 red. So now Giuseppe senses an opportunity to hit both stones out at the same time. See where he's pointing his broom. If he hits this on the right angle, he can impact that red stone, drive it into the other red, and send them both out. That would be a big change to the end. While they're doing that, let's take a look at what's going on in our consolation match over on C. We see there's some discussion as to what they're going to do here. Sean Main getting ready to take his first shot. 1 red stone still touching the button. That guy's been there pretty much the whole end. And Sean is trying to figure out what he's going to do about that stone. It looks like he's going to attempt appeal, which is getting rid of the red stone out in front. So let's see, we'll come back to that one. Meanwhile, over on sheet B, Giuseppe Russo is getting ready to deliver his first shot of the end. And it looks like Giuseppe is going to go after this double. So we're watching. Giuseppe is just releasing now. It has really good weight, but the sweepers are sweeping. Probably wants to keep it straight. He might be worried about getting past those guards. And he does impact his own guard. So, but that does open it up, and that's going to make Craig think about how is he going to do this. He's going to try and push that red back a little bit and make it outcount the yellow. Meanwhile, over here on C, Sean Main successfully moves that red stone out from in front, and now there is a space between those 2 red stones where with his last shot he could potentially draw through. And you can see automatically the red team is already talking about, let's put a stone back in his way. We do not want to give him an easy path to get to the button. So we'll see what happens there. Meanwhile, Craig Doucette is in the hack over here on sheet B in the championship match. And again, trying for a tap up here to try to change the count from 1 red to 2 red. He does not have the hammer, which is the last stone. So even if he does successfully make this shot, Giuseppe will have 1 shot to answer with. Stone is on its way down. See what we got. This stone does not look like it's going to be heavy enough to go where he wants it to go. It's curling. It's not going to be right on target. And it's not even really going to have enough power to get to that red stone. So now, if you're Giuseppe, what are you worried about? He's looking at that stone that's in the white. And if he's looking at it that way, that means he thinks he can hit it. If he can hit it and stay right where the impact point would be, that would be 2 yellow stones in the white, what we call the 8-foot, that white area. And that would be 2 points for yellow to start this match. So kind of a big shot here. And, if Craig had made his shot, this may not be an option for him depending on where the stone had ended up. But, that's curling. Giuseppe is playing with his daughter. God, I'm going to botch her name. I want to say it's Kayla. It's Kayla or it's Kyla. I apologize either way. Wonderful young curler, first year. Excited to be playing with her this year. Very nice to see her. Here comes Giuseppe's shot, and he might be on the middle red instead, which doesn't kill him but doesn't help him either. So the stone count will be 1 red because there's 1 firmly in the 8-foot there. So let's take a quick look over at C. Sean Main is trying to figure out what he's going to do. His final shot is coming up. He is throwing the yellow rocks on this sheet in the constellation game. And it looks like he's just going to try and draw in. He has that space open. So I did not see what happened on Aaron's shot, but the space is still there. So Sean will try to go right in between those 2 red rocks and end up closer than Aaron is, which is a really tight shot because look how close Aaron is to the center. That red rock is right there. Sean's shot is underway. Sweeper's walking with it, but not doing anything yet. It looks like it needs to curl or it's going to hit the guard. And it is going to hit the guard. And that won't change anything, so it will be 1 red at the end of the first end on C. So in both the championship and the constellation match, we are through the first end. We are playing 8 end matches. The constellation match may only go 6. Just because this is a fun match, but they may only go 6, but sheet B should be going 8 ends. So we're through the first end on both sheets. Thank you again for joining us today. We do appreciate it. We are excited to have you along. As I talked about before, the Achilles is a combination one-day event where we bring in old curlers and new curlers. And it's an opportunity for folks to meet each other and to get to play with some folks that they don't normally get to play with. Several of our board members are folks who play mainly on Tuesday nights in our competitive league, and a lot of our first years aren't there yet. So this is an opportunity to meet some folks, play with some folks you haven't played with before. It's really nice. Just a very nice event. The fact that I'm the planner of it has nothing to do with the fact that I talk about how lovely it is. Just telling you. And it is a board-sponsored event, too. So if you ever join Nutmeg Curling Club in your first eligible year, you would be able to play in this tournament yourself. And it's a board-covered event. The board pays for some pizza. We cover all the costs of the event, snacks and whatnot. So you just got to show up and curl and have a good time. And that's the beautiful part about this one. You just show up and curl and have a good time. All right, we're going to go to the near houses view right now because we're coming back towards the warm room. I'm waving at you. Hi, everybody. It's me behind the glass all the way on the left-hand side of your screen with his arms folded. So it's 1-0 red on both sheets. The sheet in the center with the red rings is the championship match between Russo and Doucette. And over on sheet C, which is to your extreme left right now, is Aaron Doucette versus Sean Main in the consolation match. And Sean is laughing after something just happened. Not quite sure what, but he's having a good time. That's the whole point. Not just of this event, but of curling in general. Giuseppe trying to get stone in the house here on B. It looks like it might just be a touch too heavy. Oh no, it was a takeout. It was a takeout, so successfully done. Let's look at the near end for B. And you can see there's that 1 red that was just thrown, knocked the yellow. I'm sorry, 1 yellow that was just thrown, knocked the red out of play. And so that's what Craig will be looking at. Craig will be trying to impact that yellow and make it go away. Meanwhile, on she, Sean Main has also asked for them to take out a stone. And here it comes, and it's nicely done. Here comes the takeout on B. This one looks like it's going to be right on target, and it's going to roll over and stick around. So we'll give you the wide view again. As you can see, Aaron is now over here on sheet C. He's going to call for the takeout on the yellow stone that Shawn Main just put up, while Giuseppe's trying to think about what he wants to do. Giuseppe is actually going to call a sit, and what a sit is he's going to park his yellow stone right up against that back red in an effort to try and make it hard to get out. Meanwhile, the takeout over here on C does not have the weight, and it moves the stones around, but does not successfully remove the yellow stone. And that's an opportunity for Shawn Main. He's going to now try to draw in, and if he can successfully draw in, he might be in a situation where he's counting 2 when it's all said and done, but looks like the red stone right now is the 1 stone. Meanwhile, over here on B, the draw attempt goes a little long and a little off, so it's in the back there. And now Craig is going to put up a red stone in the red 12-foot area. And if he can get it to be solid 12, he'll be counting and guarding his stone against potential draws and takeouts as well. So that's what he's going to go for there. And again, it's Shane Murray, his second, who is coming with this stone. And it looks like it's going to be a little deeper than he wanted, but it may actually serve a purpose because it's going to nudge out that yellow. And I think that yellow is just biting the back line, so it's still in play. But heck, with that stone back there, how are you getting rid of one of those reds? It may be very challenging. And so I don't know what Giuseppe's calling here. He may be trying to draw down to it again. Again, whenever you have a stone behind you, getting that front stone out can be extremely difficult. So if Giuseppe can put this yellow stone right in front of the red, he might be in very nice shape. Stone coming into view right now. Looks a little heavy, but it's curling nicely. The line looks really good. And he can go click, click, and now it will be not so easy to get that yellow one out of there. You just have to hit it at an angle, honestly. It's not super... I mean, the closer 2 stones are together in a straight line, well, any 2 points make a straight line, but if the straighter to the shooter it is, it becomes harder to get that stone out. With that little bit of separation between the yellow and the red on the screen, there's an opportunity for him to chip that out. So he's going to ask Bob Baroni to do that, and here comes Bob's stone into view now. The sweepers are on it. I think this is probably more for weight than anything else, but Bob is going to hit it pretty straightforward, and he's actually going to knock out the red, but I think that leaves yellow as the 2 closest stones, so we'll have to see how that works itself out. Meanwhile, over here on sheet C, looks like Shawn was calling for a takeout on that outer red, and it's just going to nudge it. Ooh, that's interesting. Depending on what Erin does here with her red stone, this might become a very interesting end. Erin's going to get rid of the yellow stone. She's going to try and leave Shawn with nothing to work with, and I can understand why she would do that. It's not a bad play. So Brian Glatzel's delivering the red stone right now on C, where you're currently viewing. And she is calling for a takeout. Brian Walker, this is apparently 2 Bryans and an Aaron is the name of this team apparently, is walking with it. And it looks like he's going to hit this nice and clean. And just sit there. So now what does Shawn do? These stones are angled a little bit. It looks like he wants to hit this red stone back and then roll over towards the button. And if he does that, if he hits this just right, he can hit this, roll over onto the American flag, and then he'd have the red stones behind him, making it a little harder to get him out. So we're going to stick here for just a second. I know this is a consolation match, but this is a very interesting shot. And if this shot doesn't go exactly the way he plans, the angle may be there for him to hit 2 stones out. AJ's stone is underway. It looks like it's got plenty of weight. He's going to call the sweeper on it. That's more than likely for line right now. Sweeper comes up, back on it. Sean's going to rush out. It looks like he wants to join in the sweeping. As you can see, it looks like he's going to hit it, but not take it out. And that's not all bad, because right now yellow is the closest and the red is behind it by only about a foot. Might be very difficult to get that stone out. While we were going over here on sheet B, we can see we're getting to skip rocks now. And right now it looks like the count would be 1 yellow, as that red stone in between Bob Baroni's feet would probably be the second stone. So let's see what happens here as Craig goes to take his shot. Yellow has the hammer in both cases here. Oh, Craig Doucette comes out of the hack with a fair bit of weight. I'd have to call it controlled takeout weight if I had to guess it. Sweeper's just jumped on it about halfway. It's starting to slow down. I might have overestimated the weight there. And it looks like they're trying to get down to that stone, but that is not going to happen. And instead he's going to leave a guard up there. But that's okay, because Craig does not mind the occasional tap. And that would put him... give him an opportunity to do so. Although those stones are really close together, it'd be very difficult to tap those stones, that's for sure. Thank you again for tuning in if you're watching us live. I see we have a couple viewers. And even if you're not joining us live, please remember that all of our streams do save to YouTube and can be referenced at later dates. That's why it's important for us to get these things out there, is because even if you didn't get a chance to watch this live, I mean, maybe you're on the ice right now and you just later on want to see how you played, the live stream save and give you an opportunity to watch them later, so that's great. Let's jump over to C really quick. Sean Main's got a yellow stone coming in from AJ Hippias, and it looks like it's curling a little more than he wanted. He wanted it up against that red stone right in front of him. Now he just wants it to stop so it's somewhere useful, and it does stop somewhere useful. It's not going to be a counter, but it definitely is going to be something that he can use depending on what Aaron decides to do. Meanwhile, back here over on sheet B in our main event, Giuseppe Russo throwing a stone. It looks like he is trying to draw in. He could use those red guards out in front as somewhat of a shield if he can get around them, and then the stone can curl in. But it looks like he's a little light, or he was shooting for a guard. It's unusual for Giuseppe to be light like that, so maybe Giuseppe was trying to take away the opportunity for red to draw in there. Craig Doucette will discuss the shot with his vice. This is going to be his last stone, so they want to carefully plan this one out. So in the meantime, we're going to shoot over to sheet C, where Erin Doucette is delivering her first rock as the skip in the second end. And looks like she's going to try and chip out that yellow, and it's all about the angle here, kids. No, unfortunately, and that's why you be careful when you have takeouts like that, is just because if you don't hit it on the right angle, you can impact your own stones. But again, still at the end of the day, the top counting stone right now is red, so Sean has to do something about it. There's enough separation there and enough of a not straight line that he feels comfortable going after it, but there is a lot of stones behind him in play, so there is what we call a jam potential, which is what Aaron just experienced there. It was when the yellow stone hit on a red and the yellow stone stopped where it was. So Sean hits this, and that red hits against either the yellow or one of his other back reds, just based on the angle that he hits it at. It could end up being a difficult follow-up shot. Meanwhile, over here on B, Craig Doucette just delivered the stone and put something out in the 12-foot. So now Giuseppe needs to get something closer than that red stone to get 2 points out of this. He's got some options. We'll fly back to C really quick, so he's going to look at that. Sean Main on his takeout attempt, a lot of weight, not like terribly high weight, but it's got to curl a little bit. Looks like it's coming in. The question is, what angle are we going to hit at? We're definitely going to hit that red stone, and we're going to jam on a red stone, and the count is going to remain 1 yellow, I believe, which means now Aaron Doucette has 1 more stone with her red, and they're trying to figure out what the count is so that they can figure out where the best place to put this stone would be. So they're going to have a meeting of the minds, and while that happens, we're going to shoot over to sheet B where Giuseppe Russo looks like he's going to try and hit and roll. And what that is, he's going to try and hit this red stone on the inside and have his yellow stone just kind of redirect into the white 8-foot area, which would give him 2 points. And his stone is underway. And it looks like it's coming straight at it. Is he going to get the movement? He's not going to get the movement he wanted. And it looks like it's probably going to be 1 point for yellow unless... I think that red stone in the back, on the from your point of view, the right-hand side of the screen is closer, and clearly is. So it's going to be 1 yellow, so we're going to be tied at 1 in the championship match. Let's fly over to C really quick because Erin has just released her rock. And she just needs to get into the red 4-foot area, but the stone is slowing down. All the sweepers are on it, including Erin herself. She needs to get into that red area, and it is not going to make it. And then it's going to be a matter of who's closest. I think it's going to be 1 yellow. Oh, my apologies. Yellow has the hammer here, so Sean has another shot. So Sean is looking to see what stones are in what order. It's clear that that red on the top side of your screen that's touching the red 4-foot area is clearly the first stone. But the question is, which stone is number 2? And it looks like probably the one he's gesturing towards is number 2. I mean, he might just be trying a simple draw. If he can get a yellow stone to touch any part of that red inner circle, then, or closer, or even touch the flag, then he is going to be 1 and 2. But he's pointing at that red stone, so he might be just hedging his bets and saying, all right, I'm going to throw a pretty heavy draw here. And that way, you know, I don't have to think about it. I'll throw plenty of weight because the worst case scenario is I can hit that red head on, stick around, and be in the 2 spot either way. I personally like using heavy draws with backing. Draws are an area, as me as a curler, I struggle with. So when I can use backing as opposed to a wide open draw, I like to use the backing. But I know a lot of curlers, much more proficient curlers, don't necessarily like that. So here comes Sean Main's shot. He just released it. It has got plenty of weight. Traveling on a nice straight line. Just got to see where this guy's going to hit and what he's going to do. Looks like he's going to nose this guy. Oh, but he rolls out. He didn't hit it straight on enough. And that second red, the one in the back on the center line, is most definitely going to be second rock, I think. The vices are looking at it. It is definitely at least 1 yellow. The question is it 2 yellow? Are we going to call for a measure? No, they have decided. I don't know what they've decided, but they have decided. So this is the far camera angle because the third end is beginning in sheet B. If that was 1 yellow over on sheet C, then we have 3 matches all at 1-1. The early matches were really good too. To be honest with you, I was just too busy in the warm room for me to kind of really be able to do this and make sure everything was getting done with the broadcast. So I did not broadcast the first matches, but they were both very close. One went to an extra end, and one came down to the final shot. So it's been a great day of curling here at the club. A quick shout out and hello. We have a lot of people traveling this weekend. Team Simia is out in Minnesota at what's called the Big Spiel. I believe, if I heard this correctly, 96 curling teams have descended on a variety of clubs in Minnesota. Wow. I can't imagine 96 teams in one place. That's a lot of curlers. So they're there. We have a women's team in Belfast this weekend. I know Kathy Morley and Karen Shane are a part of that team. Good luck, ladies. Who else we got? Broomstones. We have a men's team up at Broomstones this weekend. I believe that's Team Zakin. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure it's Team Zakin. And in addition, one of my favorite broadcasting partners, Jeff Hannon, is down in Maryland, I believe at Chesapeake. And he's competing, and we just got word via Facebook that he is going to be in the first event finals tomorrow morning. So congratulations, Jeff, making the finals there. We hope you play well. Unfortunately, I've also been informed there's not a live stream for that event. Otherwise, if there's nothing broadcasting here tomorrow, I'd say go watch that. But good luck to everybody who's out on the road this weekend. Let's switch to the overhead camera of B, as we already start to have stones in the house. And Giuseppe and Rick Moore, who is about to deliver, are debating the merits of taking out that red stone. And we are, in fact, 1-1. So I can summarize both games with the exact same set of sentences. Red took one in the first end, and yellow took one in the second end. So they're both tied at 1-1. I find it unusual or unbelievable that they're doing that on purpose. So Rick's shot is a little bit wider than he wanted to be, and it's actually going to go right through the house. So an opportunity for Team Doucette with hammer to kind of take control of the house. The question is, at this early point, how do you want to accomplish that? And the easy answer is give me something up on the center line that's guarding my existing stone, but is not in the back half of the house. So we'll see what he does here. While you guys are looking at that, I will switch over to see if we have any comments. We have nothing in the chat filter right now. That's okay. You don't have to interact with us on the feed. I just want to make sure if anyone had any questions or anything, please feel free with our chat feed up. If you'd like to leave a question or a comment, please feel free to do so. And the guard is out there, as you can see. It's on the center line, but it is not in the house, which is really what he was looking for. He was looking for something that would guard and be counting, and he got half of what he wanted. Over here on sheet C, I won't switch over to it because I see a stone coming into play on B. But Sean and AJ Hippias delivering the stone for Team Maine. Looks like they're trying to get a red stone out of play, and Sean's going to jump out there to help him just to make sure it's got the weight. It's by the guard, and the line looks really good. Is it going to hit it hard enough to get it out? And the answer is no, but it's going to move it far enough back that's going to matter. So let's take a quick look at what just happened over on sheet C. You see that red stone in the back. That was up front and clearly counting, and now they're a little bit closer, so it gives Sean something to work with. Jump back to B really quick. red stone coming down the ice from Bob Baroni. Looks like we're trying to guard or set up a draw here. And a guard it will be. Did not see what the call was, but a guard's not bad in that situation either. Giuseppe is an excellent, has an excellent draw. I've lost many a game to Giuseppe when you leave him 6 inches worth of room and he drives right through it and costs you a match. So it may be that Craig is trying to set up a red front, so to speak, in front of the house just to make it more difficult for Giuseppe to get anything into the house. And here comes a yellow stone down the ice now, and it looks like they are going to try and clear out some space, and they're going to succeed, but on the process, they're going to knock that red guard just inside the house. It's not going to factor into the count just yet, but it could, and it's going to give Craig an opportunity to put another guard into the white 8-foot where you just saw him tap, and if that was to make solid white, that would be, and stay on that center line, that could act as both a guard and a counter. So Bob Baroni's second stone is underway, and we'll see where it ends up. Oh, this is nice. I mean, the line is really nice. I don't think it's going to get as far in as he wanted it to, but it's going to serve its purpose. It's partially blocking that center area. It's going to make it more difficult for Giuseppe. So while we have a quick moment, a quick plug for Nutmeg, because I haven't done 17 plugs for Nutmeg already, but we have another major event coming up at the end of this month. We have a college bonspiel hosted by Yale and the Yale Curling Club. They're going to be here Friday, January 26th through Sunday, January 28th. Streams will be starting at 6:30 p.m. Friday night and continuing all the way through the championship match at 11:30 on Sunday morning. If you're in the area, again, come watch. If you're not in the area, please check out the live stream, particularly if you're one of the many colleges that is coming out to see this tournament or to participate. You can log on to our website or onto YouTube and watch from your campus. That's why we do it, folks. We want folks to be able to see curling and learn about curling and enjoy it as much as we do. Over here on Sheet C in the consolation match, Sean Main has got a lot of red to work with and not a lot of yellow. And unfortunately, he's playing yellow. He's going to ask AJ for a takeout. This takeout hits absolutely super perfectly. He can get 2. But the idea is he wants to get rid of that 1. And that's what he's going to get. And so that's a good result. Over here on Sheet B, Craig Doucette is talking about what he wants to do here. This is his first rock, so he'll have one more shot. He has 2 shots, and then Giuseppe has one last shot. And I think he's talking about how can I open this up a little bit. So they're going to discuss that. So while they're talking about that, we'll go back to where there's actually action over here on C. Erin is going to try and put a stone in the way again. She wants to protect her stone in the house. She has the last shot this end. So if she can just keep that stone where it is, with regardless of what Sean does, she will have some sort of opportunity to get 2 points here. That is, now while that is a great spot for a draw, it is not necessarily the best shot for right now because Sean Main can go and sit right on top of it. Or he can try for the double here and try to take out both red stones. This can be a very perilous position. That's a tremendous draw if it's your last shot. But for the first shot of your skip rocks, that kind of leaves you a little exposed, and Erin knows that. I don't have to tell her that. The question is, what is Sean going to do about it? Is Sean going to try and hit it, or is Sean going to try and sit in front of it? So we'll come back to that in a second because Craig Doucette has decided what he's going to do. And his red stone is underway. Sweepers are sweeping. And it looks like it's a tap up. The question is he going to tap too far? And the answer is no. The red stone is going to stay in play, and they're both touching the white 8-foot. So right now, Those 2 red stones are counting. And now Giuseppe has to figure out, how am I going to get one of those stones out of there or reduce the count with only 1 shot to throw? So while Giuseppe ponders those options, and he is talking to his daughter / Vice, Sean Main is getting ready to throw his stone here. It looks like he's going for the double takeout. Could be wrong. It's got good weight. The sweepers are just getting on it, so they were probably waiting for the break. Question is, does he have the angle to hit both? And the answer is no. But what he does have is a rollover, and now he is partly in front, or mostly in front of the red stone, and is definitely the first shot. So Erin has 1 more stone to throw. She is currently not counting any points. But if she can somehow get Sean out of the way and stick around without killing that red stone in the back, she'd have 2 points to send. So that's probably looks what they're going to talk about doing. We're going to jump back to B because Giuseppe is lining up his shot. And not quite sure what the call is here because I was paying attention to C. But he releases. It looks like it's got control takeout weight. Sweepers are on it, but then up. Giuseppe's traveling down the ice to watch his shot. Coming into view now. Oh, he hits the red and bumps the other red into the scoring area, and that's now going to be 3rd shot. So here comes Craig Doucette with his hammer, right now with 3 red stones counting, because all 3 of those stones are touching the white A-foot. All he needs is something that touches the white, and he's got 4 here. So I think what they're going to do is they're going to just set up a simple draw and just try to draw in between that yellow and that red. And as long as they get to the 8-foot, they're going to have 4 points. So while they're discussing that, I'm not quite sure what the discussion is here. It's just get something into the white. This is easy. Well, the shot isn't easy, but I mean, the decision to me is easy. Speaking of tough decisions, over here on sheet C, as Sean Main gets ready to throw his last rock, he's trying to figure out what to do. He could guard here, and who knows? So let's go back to B, because Craig is getting ready to deliver the stone. It looks like, to me, they have settled on the draw. So he's going to put his broom right up against that edge of that yellow stone and try to curl between the yellow and the red. So here comes Craig's shot. Sweepers are on it. Oh, now they're coming up. It looks like it's got a little more weight than they thought. What's the line look like? The line looks good. It's going to get in there, but he needs to be touching white. Might be a little too heavy. Giuseppe's going to sweep it. Okay, well, we've definitely got 3. We got 3 stones touching the white. I think we might have 4. That one he hit, I think he still kept close enough that it's going to be 4 red. Stones are being moved, so they must know what they're doing. Oh, Sean just reacted over here on sheet C, so his shot must not have gone the way he liked. I did not see the shot, but he is laughing and grimacing, and that's usually a sign from Sean. I've curled a lot with Sean. I introduced Sean to curling, so I kind of know the reactions of my dear friend Sean. And that's the, he just gave me a look it stuck out his tongue. I'm going to give him, I don't know. Oh, he's blaming himself. He's gesturing to me through the ice that he did not come out properly, and that's understandable. Nobody's perfect. If curling were a perfect game, it'd be played by robots. But Erin, whatever happened over here on sheet C, it leaves Erin a draw. If she can chip out that yellow, which it looks like she might be trying to do, she can get 2. But if she can just draw and be closer to it, then she's got at least the 1. She's getting over there. Is she going to get a piece of that yellow? She is not. And she's actually going to drift further through, and it's going to be 1 for yellow instead of the red taking points. So Sean ends up stealing 1 over here on sheet B, or sheet C. And we can switch to the near house view. as the third end begins. And the two of them are talking about it now. Sean is talking about how he missed his shot, and Erin's talking about how she missed her shot, and they're both laughing about it. One of the beautiful things about skips is the camaraderie between them. So it did end up being a 4-point end on sheet B for red and team Doucette. So Craig Doucette leads 5-1 in his championship match, and in the consolation match, Erin Doucette, his wife, trails 2-1. I'll leave you guys with this view for a moment. I need a 30-second break to use the facilities, and so I'll leave the stream up and silent. You guys can watch, and I'll be right back. You need another one? Another? Another beer? All right, folks, I am back. Thank you for your patience. Let's see what's happened while I was gone. All right, wow, we have rocks all over the place here. Let's start with near B, which is our championship match. Looks like we've got 2 reds in the house. Which is Giuseppe Russo trying to figure out how he's going to address that. And from his positioning, it says to me he thinks he can get 2 here. Oh, plenty of weight from the stone from Rick. Rick Moore Stone coming down the ice into view by the first guard. And he will split out the first stone out. Second one will go out to the back 12, but not out of play. So that moves some things around. That's pretty good. So that changes things a little bit over here on sheet B. Let's see what's going on over here on sheet C. Couple red stones in play. Sean trying to figure out how to best get at them. I would probably be drawing right now, Sean. You got a lot of room over here on your left-hand side. That's what he's going to do. He's going to try and draw in. So let's see what happens here with AJ Hippias throwing the draw for Sean. And while that may not be the exact result Sean wanted, but that's helpful. And the stones out in front now belong to him, so if he wanted to work with them later, he could. Meanwhile, over on sheet B, we have a lot of stones in play. At virtually every level of the house except the 4-foot. Which is forcing Giuseppe to really think about what he wants to do with his Vice's second rock. The rock is on its way, and it looks like it's going to be guard weight. And not quite. No, unfortunately it hogged. Okay. Unfortunate result there. And that will give Craig an opportunity with his first skip rock. He's got a port to work with. He could promote. He's got some options here. So it's... Yep, I think that's the best idea. So let's just draw in behind one of these 2 guards. So you'll see a lot of explaining going on today too. Part of it is because the setup of this particular tournament is to get new curlers and more experienced curlers balanced out on teams. So the folks vicing today are new curlers. So in some situations, this is the first time they've ever been asked to throw third and to hold a broom in the house. So there might be a lot of explaining of exactly what a skip wants on these shots, just because it's unfamiliar. But that's the beauty of the tournament. We want here at Nutmeg, we want our newer curlers to have an opportunity to taste all the flavors of the game. Particularly our first years, to understand there's a big, wide Bonspiel world out there, particularly in the 5 and under. The problem is, by the time you feel like you know what you're doing to go out on the road, you might not be 5 and under anymore. You have to be in your 5th year or earlier to take advantage of those Bonspiel. So we really want to expose folks to all the different positions, all the different levels of curling as soon as possible to find out where they like to be. I found out in an early run myself. Well, here comes the shot. Excuse me. It is nice, but it is not going to be where he wanted it to be. But it is going to be out in front and going to make it difficult for that yellow to be promoted. What was I say? Oh, I found out in early on that I did not enjoy skipping as much as I enjoyed vicing. I liked being involved in the decision-making process, but I didn't like being the person holding the broom all the time. I do like to skip from time to time, don't get me wrong. I like playing all the positions of curling when I have a chance, but I found a love of vice because I can do everything. I get an opportunity to be in the house, I get an opportunity to sweep, I get an opportunity to deliver. You know, I get a little piece of all of the game. So that's the position I prefer. And I know people who can't stand vicing. They would rather do anything but vice. I know people who would prefer just to be seconds. They don't want to think about holding a broom. They don't want to think about having to change up their focus. They want to focus on delivering and sweeping every shot. So, again, my whole point on this is activities like this and tournaments like this give us an opportunity to really try those things out. If you are a new curler, ask to try out different positions. Ask for opportunities to try out different positions. And get out there on the road. That 5 years is going to go rapidly quick. Meanwhile, over here on B, shot delivered. Redstone goes out the back. And I believe that the shooter might be second stone. Kind of hard to tell to be sure. But it might be sitting 2 yellow right now, which Craig does not want any part of. Craig, of course, does not have hammer, so not only is he trying to change the count here, but he's trying to make sure that with Giuseppe's last stone, Giuseppe can't get that stone back. So they're going to talk about that for a little bit. Let's take a look over here at sheet C. Aaron Giuseppe getting ready to throw her second rock. I'm sorry, her first rock. She has hammer this end. My apologies. Down 2-1. And trying to find a way to kind of dislodge Sean enough that they can get 2 or more out of this and get right back into this game. Right in front of me on the glass is Sean Main and AJ Hippias are chatting. AJ's, I think, a second-year curler and a lot of fun to play with. He is vicing today. I don't know if he vices, if he's had a chance to really vice before today. But a lot of fun to curl with, and if he's learning vicing or he has not viced a lot, he is definitely standing next to a knowledgeable person to learn some stuff from. Sean Main is an ice talker. He likes to think a lot about the game. He's very strategy-oriented, but he likes to talk his way through his strategy decisions. So having a vice there for him to bounce ideas off of is great in a situation like this because AJ can learn a lot from chatting with him. Meanwhile, over here back on sheet B, here comes Craig's rock. It looks like he's going to try and take out that yellow. It's got good weight. It's coming into play. There it goes, and it rolls over. Ooh. Well, it took out that yellow rock. There is enough space there between those 2 red rocks up front that Giuseppe just needs to drive in through that little hole. And if he can get any touch of white, he'll be fine. But he is not going to go mess with it. I'm curious as to why. He must really feel like he has a better understanding of the curl over here, because he's going to come outside to try and get his piece of the white. I would personally come right down off the center line and just try to go right between those two reds and just, you know, you just got to get in there. To be realistic, though, he's just got to get closer than those reds. He doesn't even technically need to get to the white. He just needs to get into the red closer. Discussion going on over here on sheet C still. Aaron just delivered her rock, and now Sean has his last rock. And Aaron is now sitting 1-2. So what does Sean do here? Who knows? But we will come back because Giuseppe's rock is about to come into view. Sweepers are going hard on it. It has got to get into that 12-foot area, and it does not look like it's got the gas. It's going to stop short, and that's going to be one yellow. That's the danger coming outside, is that you never know if you're going to get your stone back as far as you want it to. That's what they say. It's frosty out there. So the one yellow is going to make that game 5-2 in favor of Craig Doucette in red. Meanwhile, over here on sheet C, yellow is throwing its last stone. I apologize before if I called it hammer. It's not hammered. The hammer is yet to come, and it's red. But it looks like an angle raise. AJ's watching this one carefully. And it looks like it's already to the inside. This might be hit and roll instead. And it will hit and it will roll over. But it will still be 2 red right now with an open draw for 3. So that's the stone you got to watch out for, is the one they're standing around right now. If they can get closer than that stone, they'll be counting 3. And she's considering a hit and roll maybe? You don't need to. You've got a lot of room there. But if you don't like the draw, if you like the backing like I do, then that's definitely something to consider. So we are through 4 ends over on sheet B in the championship match. Again, 5-2 in favor of red and Team Doucette. Watching over here on C, you still have the sheet C screen up because I want to see what Aaron does here. It looks like a straight up draw. She really just needs to get closer than that yellow by the broom placement. So anything that's full white. Oh, Brian Walker is sweeping. Aaron's going to join him. Brian Glatzel's going to join them. They just need to get into that white area. This one's going to be close. No, not close enough. But it's going to be 2 red, and it's going to give her a 3-2 lead after 4. So this is a really tight game. That's the first time somebody's given up more than 1 point in any end over here on sheet C, as opposed to sheet B where there was a 4-point end for red in the third. So we will go to the far house view for a moment, because you can see there's a couple stones already in play in our championship match over on B. Excuse me if that caught that. All right, so we go into the 5th end. B is about 4 rocks ahead of C. So let's show you far B's overhead view as a red stone slides into play. So red, with the 5-2 lead, and will have hammer this end, already has 2 stones into the house. So Giuseppe is going to say, let's just draw in here. Oh, let's take out weight. I apologize. Looks like it may be a control take. That's a lot of ice for a control take, but if they're really coming back... And here comes a stone. It's coming back. Not as much curl as Giuseppe has anticipated. Also, I'm presuming that was right on broom. It might have been a little bit off broom, but I thought it was a little bit too much ice for a control takeout. But still, I haven't been out there, so obviously they know what's moving and what's not. So again, another opportunity for Craig and Team Doucette to kind of shore up this end a little bit. Looks like he's going to call for a guard here. Try to prevent Giuseppe from taking another shot at that stone. That doesn't come back as much as he wanted to, but it comes into the house, and it's going to be a stone that Giuseppe's going to have to deal with eventually, depending on how this end continues to go. So let's take a look at... Got sheet B still up. Rick Moore delivering again. It looks like they're going to go after the stone again. Only this time he gave him a little less ice, and he's got that stone out front. So even if he misses just by a little bit, he'll have the plan B of opening things up. Rick delivers, and the stone's coming into view now. Definitely has enough weight, and it's probably going to skip that red guy off to the side. Ooh, skips him into the 4-foot and makes him the shot rock, and Craig's going to waste no time. He's going to put up a rock to block that from happening again. So now here comes the shot into play for red. It is a guard, but there is still room there. So Giuseppe apparently is still going to continue to try and go get that stone out there in the center. Can't really blame him there, can I? Alright, so checking back. Let's check back in on C. We haven't looked at C in a while. What's going on over here in our consolation match? Not a whole heck of a lot in the house right now. There must be a lot of back and forth. Sean's got a stone in the house. Sean and Yellow continue to trail by 1. They're 3-2. But they do have hammer this end, and it looks like Sean is going to try the strategy of splitting the house. He's got one in the 12-foot on the bottom, what's for your view, the bottom of the rings. So he'll ask AJ to put one in the top side of the rings. And that should allow him some flexibility that if he can get that last shot and there's nothing else in there, he could have a shot for 3. AJ delivers. Sweeper's walking with it. Sweeper starts to sweep. Oh, I think this one's curling too much. Here comes Sean Main out to join the sweep. Should be coming into view now. Maybe it's a little lighter than they liked. I thought this weight looked good. It's just got to get into that 12-foot blue. It's trying. It is going to make it. Wow, great sweeping there. Great sweeping there. That was Heather and Sean making that one work to get 2 into the house. Meanwhile, sheet B, the madness continues. All sorts of red stones in play. All sorts of stones all over the place. Right now the count would be 3 red. And we're only on Vice Rocks. So I'll have to wait and see what happens here. So here comes Bob Baroni. He's going to deliver, and it looks like Craig's going to try and take out the yellow rocks, or is he drawing in? No, it looks like he's definitely going after those yellow rocks on the outside. And he's going to roll in. That's what it was. It was a hit and roll the whole way. And Bob Baroni's going to roll right onto the button. Wow. Very nice shot by Bob. Eliminates a yellow stone. Makes it harder for Giuseppe to work with it. And rolls right over to the button. So now Giuseppe and Kayla are going to take a look at the stone and what they're going to do. And it looks like he is going to call a takeout through the narrow port. So if I'm reading this correctly, he's going to come in between the red and yellow that are in the center of your screen. On to the right side, along that line that runs down the center of your screen, and just try to blast those reds right out of there. This is a shot that requires a tremendous amount of force and weight because you need the stone to travel through a very narrow area with enough force to move the other stones. And the heavier stone is thrown, the less it tends to curl. So I would imagine that Giuseppe is going to come out of this hack with blaster weight. Let's cut to that. So what you can see right now is the sweeper's getting ready. You're going to see Giuseppe slide into view. He's getting into the hack right now. Let's watch how quickly he just comes flying through the house on this one, because I have a feeling he's going to slide out really strong. He's still lining up his shot. This is not an easy shot, so he's taking his time with it. Smartly done. He is now in the hack. Let's see if I'm right about this. Yeah, he came out with significant force. Back to where the end is being played. Let's see if this gets through. And no, it is going to hit the red guard and push that red guard out of play, which is not a bad result either because it leaves you the option for your last shot of a tap-up. You have multiple yellow stones available out in front of the house. They're not very close to the house. It's not an easy tap-up, but they're there. It's better than having red stones there. And Craig Doucette, and they're going to start talking about what they want to do. And Craig is thinking big. He wants to push that red stone into the rings. No, he's going to guard. He is going to guard against potentially pushing that yellow that's closest to the house and the center into the rings. Because if he can stop Giuseppe from getting into the house at all on this second shot, that would give him a 9-2 lead. That would be a 4-point end and give him a 9-2 lead after 5. So Craig's stone is on its way. The weight looks pretty good. The sweepers are sweeping. Bob Baroni is tapping exactly where he wants it to end up. And this stone's going to be pretty darn close. Little on the yellow, but he has limited the options for Giuseppe. I think... What is Giuseppe calling here? He's calling for a broom placement. I think he might be trying to tap up the yellow. The yellow, that is, does not have the red right on top of it towards the bottom of your screen. I believe he is going to try and tap that up and push that into the 4-foot and cut him down to 1 point. Now, the nice thing about a tap-up like this is you can afford to be heavy because there's so many red stones sitting in that area directly behind that all you really need to do is hit it on the right angle, and you can push your yellow stone right into the pile of reds and really disrupt the count. And right now, he's given up 4 points. So anything he can do to disrupt this count is going to be beneficial for him. Giuseppe comes out of the hack strong again and releases the stone. He's traveling with it. He's watching it. It needs to curl. I'm standing right behind it. It does not look like it's curling enough. And instead, it is going to push the red stone over and in, but is it going to be enough? I don't believe so. I believe that's going to be 4 red, and red has the hammer. So here is red sitting 4, and if they can get something to outcount that yellow that Giuseppe just knocked in, they could be sitting 5. And that would make the score 10-2. Oh my. All right, let's check in on sheet C while he lines his shot up. Wow, that's a lot of yellow. Erin is throwing her first stone right now. It's about to come into view. Talked about the benefits of splitting the house and setting yourself up when you have hammer, and it looks like whatever Sean has done is worked out. But meanwhile, over here on sheet B, the hammer from Craig Doucette is on its way. And it's got to get in there, guys. They're confident. Okay. That's going to be 5 red, guys. That is 5 red stones closer to the center than any other yellow stone. So that's going to be 5 red. That's going to make the score 10-2 in favor of Craig Doucette. Wow. I have seen comebacks like this before. Nothing is over, but it's going to take some, at least a big end or a couple of steals for Giuseppe and his crew to get back in this. Well, we'll see what they do. Meanwhile, over here on sheet C, Sean Main getting ready to deliver his first rock with a very crowded house of yellow stones. He's in a similar situation that he's got a lot of stones in play. Can he turn them into points? Sean's rock is on its way. It is slowing down. They're going to try and drag it a little closer. And there we do. So now Erin's got 1 shot left. She's talking to Brian Glatzel on one end about where she wants the shot to go. Brian Walker, her lead/second, is down closer to me, squatting down to the ice and lining up the shot on his end to see what he can see from a shooter's point of view. And he's nodding, but he's waiting by the hacks to talk to Erin, so he might see something different. So they are discussing what it is they see. Meanwhile, I have not got an official score posted yet on B. Here it comes. It's coming up, and it is, in fact, 10-2 in favor of Doucette over Russo at the moment. Well, whatever Erin and Brian were talking about, it has forced Erin back down the ice. So we are going to take a look at the developing start of sheet B. They're coming home in their 6th. So they're in the 6th. Very interesting developments over here on sheet C. I'm going to go to the far C. It's kind of hard to see. So there it is. You can probably just went off camera. You could see a pair of shoes and a broom in the back, kind of gesturing and looking around. Here it comes in from the side. That's Sean Main. Even in a match where he's trying to win, he is still feeling like, if I can help out, I want to help out. And it's one of the beautiful things about our club. Our most experienced skips, or even our inexperienced skips, they're always good with advice and always willing to help, even if, Sean may be telling her something that costs him this end. But it looks like Erin has decided to stick with the draw, which I think is probably the right call. If she can get into the 4-foot, she can make all of Sean's efforts for naught. And if she can get into the 8-foot, she can definitely cut him down. She releases the stone. It looks heavy from my angle, but they're traveling with it. Now they're sweeping. And now they're up. Here it comes into view. If it gets to the red... Oh, slow down. Slow down. And it is going to be good enough. That is going to be 1 red unless Sean does something about it. Now, from my angle, it looks like that shot is exposed. And now they're discussing, again, beautiful part about our club and the game. They're discussing what they didn't do there. What were the other options there? The whole team is discussing it. I love that. Both teams working together to really just kind of make sure everybody has a good time and understands the shots being taken. But Sean now, with his hammer, he could conceivably follow her down and push her back. And if he does, he could be sitting 5. He needs to get that redstone out of play pretty much completely to get to 5 because he would need that top biter to count. But it's doable. Hey, how are you? Good. Good to see you. How are you? Yeah. Still a piece of pizza if you want. We got leftover pizza over there. Please help yourself. So let's see how Sean does here. It definitely looks like he is going to go for the controlled takeout here. And again, I can see part of that stone, so I can understand why. And it would be a big end if he got to it. Oh, from my perspective, it looks like it's narrow. Oh, it is. I don't think he's by his guard. He's not. Oh, dear. Okay, well, that's going to end up being 1 red. So on an end where Sean was looking at an opportunity to take 4 or 5 points, the last shot over curls from what he wanted it to do, and he ends up giving up 1 more to red, and now the score is going to be 4-2, but Sean's going to retain hammer and have an opportunity to pull himself right back into this match. Wow. Let's take a look over what's going on near B. And the answer is a whole lot of nothing. There was stones in play, now there aren't anymore. Like moments before this, there was a takeout, and now there's nothing in the house. So, and that's not really great for Giuseppe. Giuseppe needs rocks in the house right now if he's going to claw back into this. But I guaranteed Craig knows that, and Craig is probably going to do a takeout style game against him at this point. Again, that score is 10-2 in favor of red and Craig Doucette over here on sheet B. Thank you again for joining us. If you are joining us on the live stream, I know a couple folks are tuning in. I'm getting some text messages saying, hi, how are you guys doing? Thank you for being on. Really do appreciate everybody joining us today. Alright, so we're just getting started over here in the 6th end on sheet C, but we're watching sheet B because we're a little further into the end. And looking like Craig Doucette is going to play lead protection and up by 8 with only 3 ends to play. Who could blame him? Craig Doucette already has his name on the Achilles Cup like 4 times. So this will maybe a 5th. This may be a record for him. I have no idea. I know that because it's an event where past presidents and past board members have the opportunity to compete, we do have a couple of our longer curlers on the cup multiple times. But I have no idea who would hold that record. Craig would definitely be in the conversation if he pulled off another win today. So here we are again on sheet B, and you can see Craig is just going to take the stone elimination path. If every stone he can take out of play is a point that Giuseppe cannot score. Oh, but he does miss there and knock his own stone out and leave some granite in play for Giuseppe to work with. Watching over here on sheet C, where it is a 4-2 lead in favor of Aaron Doucette after Sean's unfortunate miss. It looks like Sean, they've got one red stone in the back of the house so far, but we're still on first and second rocks over here. Now, if they stick to their original plan, when they went out there for this consolation match over here on C, they were discussing playing 6 ends, which is fine because it's a consolation match. But that would make this the last end, in which case Sean would need to take 2 to tie. So depending on what they actually agreed to play will determine what they're actually trying to accomplish. So I've been asked for a scoring recap. So the scoring recap is sheet B. Craig Doucette leads Giuseppe Russo by a total of 10-2. They're in the 6th end of an 8-end game. And over here on sheet C, Aaron Doucette leads Sean Main 4-2 in what is probably a 6-end game. So they should be coming home shortly. Oh, I'm well set. Thank you. Sorry, our bartender Andy just came in and said, "Hey, man, do you need another drink?" And, "Oh, I'm good for now. Thank you." One of the perks of being on the air is that the bartenders take extra special care of you. So we continue to watch here, sheet B. Lot of yellow stones way out in front. Giuseppe now is going to try and open things up. I mean, realistically speaking, they've got... All right, so we're in the 6th end. They've got 3 ends, and they're down 8. If they can get a couple points here, let's say they get 2 here, cut it to 10-4. They can steal 1 or 2 in the 7th. That cuts it to 10-6. That does still leave a large quantity of points they've got to steal in the 8th, but nothing's impossible. I've seen bigger leads than this evaporate. Heck, at the club challenge, we saw bigger leads than this evaporate just last weekend. So, or last weekend was Golden Handle, a couple weeks ago. So Giuseppe's shot does not get the shot rock and instead pushes the red stone a little further over. Some good-natured fun where they're talking about maybe we should kick the stone out of play just to be fair. But hey, careful, that stuff comes back to bite you. All right, over here on sheet C. Let's cut over here to sheet C and see what we've got. We've got 3 more red lined up. But Sean Main does have the hammer here, and he's only down 2. We're on Vice Rocks now. So Sean is going to try and disrupt that front grouping. AJ throwing ton of weight. I think you got to sweep that. I could be wrong. I am absolutely wrong. And here it comes. We're going to get some click. Look at this. Wow. He moved granite around, which is what Sean was trying to do. There was almost a possibility there that he got a back double. Instead, the 2 red stones will stick around, which will keep the count at 1 red for the moment. But wow. I mean, if Sean could somehow find a way to get rid of those 2 red stones on what is the top side of your screen and roll into the house, he'd be sitting 2 as he came to his hammer, and that would make this a whole. I mean, that's what I mean. Nothing's out of the realm of possibility right now. That's for sure. Oh, we have handshakes over on sheet B. It looks like whatever happened in terms of pointage, it was enough for Giuseppe to say, nope, I cannot recover from this. So they are going to call this match completed over here on sheet B. Craig Doucette will inscribe his name once again onto the Achilles Cup. So Craig, joined by Bob Baroni, Jane Murray, and Jeff Roberget, will all become members of the prestigious Achilles Championship Club. Which means we can focus our efforts here on the finish up for sheet C. Brian Glatzel's stone looks like the handle reversed on him a little bit. Maybe just had a bad read on that stone, but some applause. It's a quiet war room this afternoon. I could applaud closer to the mic if it makes it feel better, you know. But folks coming off, applaud as they come off. Meanwhile, over here on sheet B, it looks like Sean Main is going to try and come through that port to the back guy. The back red? I could be wrong. AJ's got solid weight here. Sean is getting closer to the ground to keep an eye on the movement. Calls his sweeper onto it. It looks like it's going to be on the front red. And it is going to nick the front red and roll in, and that's not all bad for Sean, because that's going to make Sean shot rock and put him in a position to potentially get some points this end. So we're going to go quiet for a moment on the mic while I get some snacks set up for these folks. I will be right back. Hummus and leftover pizza for everyone.
Do you like falafel? Do you like falafel?
Kebab, yes. No falafel.
So you just don't like chickpeas?
That might be it.
Yeah.
You might have me on that one. My wife got me into doing Mediterranean. She loves a little place up in New Haven that's in the middle of nowhere. Mamoons.
There's one really good place in downtown Sheldon called Aroma.
What's it called?
Aroma in downtown Sheldon.
Tell her about it.
Yeah.
There's a place right down the street from us too. There's a
It's
Turkish
like a
kebab
full
place that does really good falafel. But if she has her choice, she would drive to New Haven any chance she got.
Yeah. I love falafel. I would eat falafel all the time. I thought it was a fried hummus. It's fried. Clean and light as they fry the falafel.
My wife loves falafel in a wrap.
Falafel, shawarma, I just love it all. I need to go.
Okay, I am back. Thank you for the patience. The discussion in the war room has turned to the merits of falafel. So we're watching over here on sheet C. Looks like Sean Main's about to deliver his first rock. And right now he is sitting one. If they're only going to play the 6 ends, which I'm not entirely sure what they agreed. It was discussed upon when they went out there. But if they're only playing 6 ends, Sean needs to get 2 here. But with all those guards out in front, especially that high red guard all the way to the extreme left of your screen, it can be very difficult for him to get through there. There is some space. The question is, I think, really, where do I put my broom and where am I aiming in order to get through there and count my second stone? I believe Sean's going to try to come with a T-line draw. He's going to try and curl and come in between that red and yellow out in front of the house, and try to curl into the 8-foot area, the white area at the very top of your screen. Because I think if he thinks he can do that, he can get behind the coverage and thusly be protected and make it harder for Aaron to get him out of there. So let's see. I feel like that's an awful lot of ice for such a call, so I may be wrong on the call. But let's see what he does. It's got a lot of weight. He might be trying to move the reds. No, AJ is trying to wave it over. AJ is trying to will it to curl. He may be going after that back red. He is by the guards. And he is on that back red, and he is going to just nudge the back red enough that it's going to go to the back line. And that apparently was exactly what they wanted to do. So Sean now forces Aaron to find a way to cut him down. Sean has to get 2 here. If they agreed they were going to play 6 ends, then Sean has to get 2. So it's not all bad here. And Erin's going to put her broom in the exact same place, and I think just going to try to duplicate the exact same shot.
I'm trying to repeat that for 2018. I was like, maybe I can go for like 6 million steps. So that's like more than 6,000 steps every day. And I'm like, yeah, to get there to that. I'm like, that's too much.
All right, so Erin delivering her shot. Very similar to Sean's in terms of line and weight. It's got to start to curl. It's beginning to curl. It looks like it's following, like it's almost a spitting image. It's just not going to curl as much. She's going to hit it, but I don't think she's going to stick around. She rolls out into the 12-foot. So now Sean Main, sitting 1, has a port to get 2. He could conceivably come the exact same way with a little less weight and just get into that 8-foot. But the question is, if you change up the weight, you've got to change up the line. Now he's going to go with a similar line. I mean, he's got more room to work with. It just really has to outcount the red that's on the top of the screen in the blue 12-foot. If he can just get closer than that stone, then he will tie this match up.
Running is a solution to like a lot of problems. That's my life's motto. You can't run and cry at the same time. My book, my life story. Run away from your problems. Eventually they stop, strip away all your breath.
And his shot is away, and it looks very similar to the last one. Maybe a touch lighter. It is not moving as much, though. It is breaking late. He might be on the red. I don't think he's going to get by that guard. He is not. He is going to hit the guard up front. He's going to take 1, and he is offering handshakes. Aaron Doucette will win the consolation match 4-3. So both Doucettes win in the second draw of the Achilles, and Craig will get his name on the cup, and Aaron will get at least a moral victory out of it and a win against Sean and his squad. So thank you all for watching. We're going to sign off at this point so we can get everybody into the war room, get some snacks and some drinks going on, and do the pin presentations. Thank you again for joining us. Don't forget, at the end of this month, we do have the College Bonspiel coming up. Love for you guys to join us. That will be streamed live as well, so we would love for you guys to join us for that. Again, my name is Britt, and thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great one, guys.